How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. So I wanted to try something different. You guys know me for Supras, 2J things, super clean builds. You guys have seen a lot of stuff that we did at the shop in California, and you know that I really like details and making things look really cool but also work good and kind of being over the top. I like it to be like, if it's my own, I guess, my own car, I want it to be like everything that I could imagine that I could do to it. If I have the money to do it, I'm gonna do it. You know that about me. Maybe it's cool to watch. Sometimes I overdo it though, to the point where it's like, now I don't want to hurt it because I took it too far. And sometimes the most fun you can have in life is just, in a way, like a beat up car that it's reliable, it runs, and you just have fun with it and like get your fun out of cars. We all like cars, we all like working on things. Well, at least I assume that's why you guys are watching. You know, the same interest here. Something that's always appealed to me is like, when you're in the junkyard and you're grabbing a part, I don't get to go to the junkyard too often because always working, I'm at the shop doing stuff for the business, it's nonstop. But let's say you go to the junkyard, you see a car with an engine in it and it's like most of the car is like complete. Your mind starts thinking like, what could be? Like maybe I grab that car, get it cheap from the junkyard and then get it running and like you kind of came up on that or whatever. Maybe it's not a junkyard. Maybe you drive by the same house all the time and they just have a car sitting outside and it has like flat tires. But in your head, like you're like, I could offer them, you know, $1,000 or $500. I could fill up the tires, get it on a trailer, whatever it is, get it back to my house in the driveway and fix it, or in my case, get it back to the shop, get it going again. And then it's kind of like you came up on this cool car or whatever. And it's almost like just something fresh and new. Well, okay, on that topic, now let me take you back, kind of fill you in where my thought process on a couple of videos that I want to do. When we moved here, we're just busy organizing the shop, working, going to and from races last year for FD and whatnot. Tons of neighbors stopped by. Just the people that stop by that are into cars learn that we're car people, and then they frequently stop by. And most of the people that are frequently stopping by are older and retired, but they're car people. There's only, you know, a handful of these guys, and then we became friends over the time because nice guys, they're into cars, it's inevitable you're gonna be friends with them. Two of these guys in particular have their own shops down the street. Over the couple months that we've been here, you know, 8 months or whatever, get to know them enough to have their phone number. They help me when I needed help with something random or vice versa. And then I get to see their shops. They have a lot of stuff. Like, imagine me, if I had filled this building up, their shops aren't quite as big, but filled the building up over the years and I'm like 60 years old. There'd be some cool stuff and probably some of it has not been fired up in years, or maybe it's a project that never did fire up. They had anticipated getting it going, but then they kind of just lost interest or lost energy in that and they're onto something else. I want to take you to my friend Jim's shop. I have an idea with something that he has there. Let's see if we can talk him into it. But there is a lot of cool stuff in Jim's shop that has just kind of been set to rest for years. And I think there's some cool stuff that we could like bring back to life. So let's head over there and I'll show you what I had in mind. Alright guys, we're here at Jim's shop, as you can see behind me. Motorcycles, a lot of them, cars, part of an airplane. That's crazy, didn't think about that. 2 cars, 4 cars, like he has a lot of projects, some of which have been completed, some which have been parked outside. I don't know the story on literally anything, but let's go meet Jim. He's a character. Kind of mentioned this idea to him. Let's see how he takes it. Okay, Jim needed a Coke, so I brought him a Coke. This is Jim.
Thank you.
So now we're gonna put Jim on the spot.
This is my buddy Roger.
Roger.
From Wisconsin.
His name with that Coke, you know.
Roger.
How's it going, Roger?
This is Dan and Renee.
You guys are
Nice to
friends
meet you.
too?
Yeah, just trying to clean the place up.
So Jim, you have a lot of projects.
No.
Just a little. Let's show them inside the shop briefly and then talk about the one thing that I know you guys like that I wanted to try and bring back to life. You got something of everything or 5 of everything in here? Even has like Bridgeport, mill there. massive bandsaw. So he's got like all his tools to build stuff. Forklift, that's his hot rod like drag car. Tell him about that real quick.
Oh, it's a 56 Chevrolet sedan delivery with a 521 cubic inch big block Ford steel crank, H-beams, Edelbrock heads, turbocharged.
Doesn't it have
So,
like this 80 millimeter
Borg Warner 80 millimeter turbo. It's turbo 400 transmission, trans brake, and then gear vendor's overdrive. From right here to the firewall of the car, you could see the ground. There was nothing.
Oh, wow.
There was just the 2 frame rails.
That's a huge project.
So
then.
yeah,
But look at how wide the back tires are.
we did the
Tubbed
cage
it.
here. Oh, these are the narrow ones. The slicks are, yeah, that's one of the slicks right there. 1533s. It's a cool old car.
Yeah, he likes projects. But what I wanted to ask Jim about, if you guys turn around, he also has this other property over here. There's a Z3. Z3 hasn't probably ran in 10 years?
Somewhere in that area.
Over 5 years.
I drove it in the barn probably 5 years ago.
But it's a manual, inline 6, has some flat tires like we talked about. Let's just walk around this real quick. Could be spiders and snakes anywhere. Definitely. Oh wow.
Are the tops on these manual? I don't even know.
No, I don't think so. Okay, so it's seen better days, but it is a manual. And let's feel the clutch.
We got
pedal.
another problem.
What is it?
The key's gone.
Ooh, the clutch feels like jammed up.
Probably under the seat or something.
Kind of scared to get in there. Look at this. It kind of needs like a hosing down, huh, Jim?
Here we're Jim's.
Oh my God! There's a dead wolf spider like this big. It's big. I don't like spiders, everyone.
If you don't like spiders and snakes, this car probably is. It's a jewel, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a jewel. Broken windshield in 2 spots. Yeah, so you guys really have to see past this stuff though.
I think it's the perfect thing for a drift cart.
Yep, so that was the plan, drift cart. So now let's look at the engine. It's an engine, seen some rats and spiders, but from what Jim and I can see, we kind of looked at this before you guys were here. Wiring hasn't been severed by rats. That's probably your cruise control.
Yeah.
I think we can live without that. It's kind of pretty bad, but we think we could get it going. So I think it would have to get hosed down, kick the windshield out of it or something to see, and then vacuum the inside for a couple hours. Then you do the mechanical stuff, see if it'll fire up.
All aluminum twin cam inline 6.
It's worth a shot, don't you guys think? So you think we can make this run and then drift? And if we can, then we remove as many body panels as we can. It's just like a cart, like Jim said. It's worth a shot. Now, how do we get it back to the shop? Yeah,
Part of it's finding a derelict car like this and making it go again.
Yeah, you want to see if you can get it running and driving, and then you like mission
And pull hole
accomplished.
shots.
Yeah. The goal is to get it running and then try and drift it or make it do burnouts. The fun in that would be like you brought something back to life, or it's like a little come up or something.
Super cheap, nearly free go-kart just to have a good time with. Just to keep going. Everybody should have one of these.
Basically, that's the thought. Tie rod's busted.
I don't remember that part.
We're missing one tie rod.
Were you
Oh
already
no,
drifting,
you're
Jim?
not missing the tie rod. I stole the tie rod. It's gone, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like cut in half or broken in half. So before we can get it back, we'd have to
Well, we'll have to fix that.
connect that, yeah. Okay, so Jim had this super cool old tank from World War II, I guess on some airplane thing, like a B2 or whatever. Filled up all the tires. We gotta fix that tie rod. Then we could kind of roll it out of here. For sure, clutch needs to be assessed because that pedal is just stiff. So it's like the master or slave probably needs replacing or both, and then bled. We have a couple things under the hood we'd have to work on, but seems like it wouldn't be too hard to get it running. One thing though, we lost the key, so we gotta find that first. Or we could do the alternative, but hopefully first we'll just find the key.
Success.
We found the key.
No running. No excitement. Jim found the key.
Yep. I'm gonna go wire brush it first. It's really nasty looking for being underwater. It's even got the BMW emblem, guys.
Diesel forklift. It's pretty cool. I don't know, just try it, see what happens. Jim has a plan because he wants to try and start it apparently here. Just gonna let Jim do his thing. So we lifted it up on the front bash bar, front crash beam, whatever you guys want to call that, and then we're bringing it into a shop because it had a severed tie rod. Jim can't remember how that happened. Check that out, that's cool. We're gonna weld the tie rod back together so we can tow it. After you weld the tie rod, we could either flat tow it back to the shop or we could try and fire it up. We'll find out.
I want you to look and see if it's got that ZF transmission.
Oh, yeah.
You were thinking about?
A little sketchy. All we're gonna do here, we pulled the boot off. We're just gonna weld this bent, blown out, look at how sloppy that is, inner tie rod back to where it had broken here, to the outer tie rod. That should let us either fire it up and drive it to the shop with a bunch of spiders on our lap, or flat tow it with a bunch of spiders on our lap. Either way, spiders. I absolutely hate spiders. But it was 29 to 31 degrees last night. The spiders are not doing good right now. Let's hope they're all dead. We did quick job here, so it's welded. We left the bend in it just for style, so it's got a little bend in there. And then we did notice lug nuts, or no, these have lug studs or whatever, German stuff. They're loose on this one, so we're gonna go around and check them before we get, you know, up to 88 miles an hour with this thing. So we tried battery charger on the back there, on the battery. Not gonna happen, guys. Needs a different battery. Now we're gonna set it down and see if we can get it to roll on its own. If so, then we'll tow it or whatever back to the shop. We tied up to the Prius to tow it after we set it back down. You can see that skid mark. This tire's locked up. All the other ones seem to roll, although they all look like they could be locked up, but they all work. So we gotta work on this brake to unlock it. So we're gonna see what we can pull off here with moving the caliper. Possibly that'll free it up. We'll see in a second. Okay, so we hammered away for a while. Caliper came off, pads disintegrated, and that's a good enough fix for us because now the wheel will spin. Just won't have much brake on this side, but we're just gonna flat tow it real cautiously back over to the shop. Then I'll do some hosing down to eliminate this type of stuff. Spider webs everywhere. All right, we're doing this. This is disgusting. I'm ready. Let's hope I don't die. Yeah, they work. This is my brake. It pulls. This is dangerous. Hey guys, wish me luck for not dying with spiders. I gotta go. Oh my God. Okay, it's here. We did it, Jim. Now the fun part begins. Yeah, the fun part. Pressure washers out here. Leaf blowers out here. Thinking leaf blower first. Get all this crap, pine needles, whatever else. Really? It closed the hood? Really? Interesting. Okay, well, one thing at a time, everyone. Gonna leaf blow it, then I'll pressure wash it. It's disgusting. We knew that though. Okay, let me get started. Really don't want to do this part. So then I also made a little list of like brake pads, tie rod, things like that. Probably fuel pump, battery. It's gonna be a handful of things. Shouldn't be too expensive, just small things. Then once we get it running, only thing I really think we really need is to drain the fuel out and a fresh battery from a different car, and then we get it running, and then if it runs, then I'll buy the other stuff, which it should run. And then the idea I have here, a far-fetched idea, but it's gonna happen. Take as many panels off that thing as I can and drift it around here, but I need a second one of those because it's short little stubby cars, 2 of them, tandem practice in the circle here. That'd be fun. All right guys, it's the next day. So you saw me washing this on that time lapse. Still looks like shit. Complete shit. Okay, it's a lot cleaner under there. A lot less spider web like. Yeah, man. I just parked it over here to kind of collect some more spiders. Thought there wasn't enough, you know. No. So not gonna work on it for a couple days. What I did is I have this little checklist. So it turns out there's a 98 2.8 liter with a manual. 2.8 means that we got the ZF Trans, the strong one, so that's good. What I was gonna say is I've ordered a list of things from Rock Auto, just basic stuff like brake pads, because they're kind of rotted to the rotors. We're gonna turn the rotors at Jim's shop on one of his lathes, and we're gonna put a fuel filter, things like that. I ordered just the basic broken things with this, because that's all this car needs is the basics. When that box shows up from Rock Auto, then we'll get back on this car, see if we can fire it up and do some fun things with it. Until then, give me a minute, because there's no use in working on it when I don't have a fuel filter and etc. It's been a second, guys, but the parts have shown up. So we got front brake pads, rear brake pads, fuel filter. I don't know if we're gonna need this and this other part. So this is the master, that's the slave. Those are for the clutch. We know for sure we needed this inner and outer tie rod because it was bent. So we received all the parts. Now it's time to see if Jim and I can get the Z3 running. Whoa, there's two Jims here. Jim and Jim. We're gonna see if we can get that thing running. We don't know what we'll run into right away, but there's probably gonna be more surprises.